Okay. Welcome to lecture series, Global Development Agenda and Thailand's Challenges. My name is Yasushi Negishi, lecturer, Puey Ungphakorn School of Development Studies, Thammasat University. Let me introduce myself to you briefly. I obtained bachelor's degree from Hitotsubashi University, Japan, and master's degree from Yale University. I was trained as economist, and I have spent almost 40 years in development finance space by serving various roles, such as country director's position in Thailand and Lao PDR with the Asian Development Bank from 2013 to 2020, senior advisor, equity department with IFC from 2009 to 2013. I also served chief representative positions in Washington, D.C. and in Bangkok with JBIC, Japan Bank for International Cooperation from 2003 to 2009. During these years, I followed up macroeconomies of both developed and developing countries and was involved with projects such as infrastructure provision, social sector service delivery, and financial sector development. During this lecture series, I am looking forward to sharing my views and exchange opinions with you. These are the 5 presentations I have been delivering under the series. These lectures are designed for those who are interested in learning on global development issues at the introductory level. I hope this presentation will help learners to familiarize themselves with key development agendas. Today, I am going to talk on regional cooperation and integration and Greater Mekong Subregion Economic Cooperation Program as an example. This slide shows 3 global development agenda in the center, which are poverty alleviation, reducing inequality, and sustainability. And there are many related issues which contribute to the global development agenda. Regional cooperation and integration has been an effective approach to tackle the development agenda by integrating the sub-region's economies, solving transboundary issues, and promoting people-to-people exchange. Regional cooperation enables participating governments to collaborate to design, prepare, approve, and implement various projects to benefit the participating countries. Many countries in Asia have been adopting such a framework with their neighboring countries. And Thailand, its neighbors have established GMS cooperation framework 3 decades ago, which is a prototype for other countries' regional cooperation and integration initiatives. Today, we will start with definition of regional cooperation and integration and background of GMS cooperation. In section 2, we talk about outline of GMS cooperation and examples of cross-border infrastructure and environmental sustainability. Lastly, we learned about GMS cooperation's outcomes for the past 30 years and its challenges going forward. Let's start with the section 1, definition of regional cooperation and integration. Regional cooperation and integration is defined as the framework by which countries coordinate, collaborate, and invest to strengthen the integration of their economies and to preserve common resources. RCI promotes to build common physical infrastructure and related regulations so that the participating countries benefit. As you can see from the map on the right-hand side, there are many such regional cooperation initiatives in Asia regions. GMS cooperation is in blue color in the center, and there are many other such similar RCI initiatives in this region. In case of Thailand, Thailand is involved with GMS and also another RCI initiative called IMTGT and also BIMSTEC. But today, I would like to focus on GMS as a typical example for RCI. Okay, let me explain the historical background for forming GMS Corporation. In Indochina Peninsula, there are many internal wars and international wars since 1950s. And there are many such incidents. However, I would like to focus two battlefields. First battleground was in Vietnam and Laos. From 1955 to 75, we had Vietnam War, where North Vietnam, supported by Soviet Union, fought against South Vietnam, which was supported by United States. And finally, North Vietnam won this war, and Vietnam established the socialist state since then. And in Laos, they have a similar internal conflict between communist activists and the government of the Kingdom of Laos. And in 1975, communist activists won the internal war, and established the Lao PDR in 1975. That's the first battleground in the region. And the second battleground was in Cambodia. Cambodia also went through internal wars early 1970s. And in 1978, Khmer Rouge regime, which was supported by North Vietnam and Viet Cong, won the internal war. And however, this Khmer Rouge regime did a so-called politics of fear. And they killed surprisingly 2 million Cambodians. And also they tried to make a raid on with the border of Vietnam. And since then, Vietnam invaded into Cambodia, and then Khmer Rouge regime was removed, and they were able to establish Republic of Cambodia. And in response to the international pressure and collapse of the Soviet Union, Vietnam withdrew from Cambodia late 1980s. And after that, internal wars continues, but they were able to have Cambodia's Paris Peace Accord in 1992. So these are the two battlegrounds, major battlegrounds in Indochina in those days. And another big incident happened, which was collapse of Soviet Union in 1991. And then those socialist or communist states started economic reform based on the market-based principles. That's created the environment that regional cooperation as a key mechanism to promote the economic development in the region. And in 1988, then Thai Prime Minister General Chachai announced Thailand's foreign policy for turning Indochina from a battlefield to a marketplace. This is a very practical approach to change this region. And it is a surprising initiative considering the past conflict inside the peninsula. And also in 1992, in the first GMS meeting at ADB in Manila, Cambodia Prime Minister Hun Sen mentioned that after ending wars and internal conflicts, we can finally spend our budget for healthcare, education, and infrastructure, no longer for weapons. Can we start cooperation to develop the region together? So these are the political initiatives try to promote regional cooperation in this region. In those days, this is opportunities and challenges before forming GMS corporations. So as for opportunities, political cooperation would strengthen the regional stability and peace. And also, peace and stability will foster enabling environment for economic development. Economically, cross-border trade and investment were expected to increase after the peace is achieved and generating mutual benefits. And infrastructure projects such as transportation networks and energy grids would link the region and facilitating the movement of goods and people. Socially, cooperation would increase people-to-people interactions and promote cultural exchanges and tourism. So these are the opportunities perceived by the policymakers. At the same time, there are challenges. For instance, political complexities can impede decision-making, and also historical complaints may prevent forming trust among people. Economic disparities among member states may pose challenges for equitable development. In those days, there are income inequality among the countries in this region. And social integration efforts also might face resistance due to cultural differences among people in these regions. So those are the opportunities and challenges perceived before forming the GMS Corporation in those days. Let me finish the historical background and move on to the section 2, which is outline of GMS and examples of cross-border infrastructure and environmental sustainability in GMS. This is outline of GMS. GMS was established in 1992, 30 years ago, and member countries are Cambodia, Laopedia, Myanmar, Thailand, Vietnam, plus 2 provinces of China. Originally, only one province, which was Yunnan province, but later another province, which is Guangxi Zhuan Autonomous Region, was added to this frame. And coordinating ministry is ministries of planning in each of member states. And in case of Thailand, National Economic and Social Development Council is the ministry in charge. And ADB serve as a secretariat for GMS cooperation. And main principle of agreement is 1+1, meaning if two countries agree to do on a certain project, the other members would endorse it. This is a principle to promote the regional project as much as possible. For instance, if Thailand and Laos agree to build an international bridge over Mekong River, then other members are supposed to endorse this project based on this principle. In that way, they try to facilitate such a project inside the region. GMS Corporation holds regular minister-level meetings. They normally hold such meeting annual basis. And besides this minister-level meeting, they hold sector working group meetings in the following sectors. There are 9 sectors: agriculture, energy, environment, health, and human resource development, ICT, tourism, transport and trade facilitation, and urban development. And in this presentation, I would like to take an example of cross-border infrastructure projects and environmental sector projects, so that I can give you the flavor of the effective approach of the GMS corporations. Cross-border infrastructure projects play a very central role in promoting trade and investment. Firstly, these projects involve the development of roads, railways, electricity networks, and other critical infrastructure that spans national borders, crossing national borders, and creating seamless, continuous regional network. And as a result, transportation and logistics become more efficient, reducing trade barriers and facilitating the movement of goods and people across borders. Thirdly, improved connection contribute to the integration of national economies and creating a more interconnected and dynamic regional market. So with such infrastructure, transportation infrastructure, 6 countries in this region could be regarded as a one market, because people and goods can move freely. Then external investors, foreign investor may consider GMS region is a place that they can invest and also export their products and sell their products with such improved transport networks. Fourthly, cross-border infrastructure not only enhance trade within GMS, but also attracts investment, as I just mentioned, that not only facilitating trade, but also encourage both internal investors and external investors invest in this region, as we have connected efficient transport sector, and also in total we have huge number of population in this region. And finally, these projects often need to increase the people-to-people connection, fostering cultural exchanges and collaborations. So overall, the development of cross-border infrastructure stands as a cornerstone for regional cooperation and integration in the GMS. Okay, that's the example of cross-border infrastructure projects promoted under the GMS cooperation. And this is the example of GMS transport corridors network. And as you can see, these are the economic GMS corridors. In case of Thailand, we have this famous East-West economic corridor connecting the Molamyain in Myanmar facing Andaman Sea, and the city is connected by this East-West corridor. This corridor goes through Myawaddy in Myanmar, and then cross the border to Mesop in Thailand. And then this route goes through Pisanarok and also Mukdahan in Thailand. And there is a international bridge, second international bridge between Thailand and Laos. And then we can cross over to Laos side. And this road finally reaches the Da Nang port. It's one of the major ports in Vietnam. Reach the Da Nang port. So by using this corridor, those, for instance, goods produced in Vietnam can export to Myanmar by using this corridor. This is the example of East-West economic corridors, but similar corridors were planned under GMS corporations. There are other corridors like Southern Eastern Corridor, which connecting the way in Myanmar up to Vietnamese towns and also Ho Chi Minh cities. And there are another East-West corridors connecting between Myanmar, two provinces, China, and also there are north-south routes connecting inside the region. So that's the corridor networks. And these networks have been built during the past 30 years. So in early 1990s, when GMS was formed, only partial roads were built during early 1990s. But in 10 years later, GMS countries continued to make investment on the transport roads corridor project in the region. And in year 2010s, as you can see, many more roads were built. And this region was able to establish transport networks thanks to this GMS framework. Let me also mention the example of environmental collaboration. before explain this one, let me explain the geographic situation of this region. As you may know well, that we have Mekong River International, the longest international river in Indochina region, which started in China, and this river flows through border between Myanmar and Laos in this section, and then reaches Thailand side. And this river goes through the border between Thailand and Laos. And then later, the Mekong River go inside the Laos. And again, come back to the border with between Thailand and Laos. And this river go into Cambodia. And we have a famous lake called Tonle Sap in Cambodia. And this Tonle Sap lake works as a buffer. When water is high, then the water will go into Lake Tonle Sap. But water level becomes low during a dry season. The water of the Tonle Sap will come out to the Mekong River. And finally, Mekong River reached so-called Mekong Delta area in Vietnam. And we have the, in this region, in light green color is called Mekong River Basin. This is the image of river basin. So rainfalls coming to this, falling down this area will go through, water will go through up to the ocean. So in this region, we have several such river basins. Mekong River, Chao Phraya River, Taluin River, Irrawaddy River, Red River, and other Chinese rivers. So if we have some issues in the upstreams, for instance, if we have some water contamination in the upstream due to use of the agricultural chemicals and so on, then it would affect the agricultural farming in the downstream. Therefore, it makes sense to have a common environmental standards and regulations so that everybody along the river can utilize the water in a safe way. And I think that's the basic understanding why GMS countries need to collaborate in agriculture practice and also environmental issues and so on. And as for the, so we call this transboundary environmental issues. And we need to address these transboundary environmental issues, and then we can foster sustainability, environmentally sustainability in the region. So let me go through these slides. So collaborative efforts enable the formulation and implementation of common environmental policies and strategies because we are connected environmentally. And this coordination is particularly crucial in managing transboundary challenges like biodiversity conservation and mitigation of environmental degradation. And by working together, GMS nations can pool resources especially human resources and financial resources, and share expertise, and developed joint initiatives to address common environmental concerns. Among 6 countries, some countries have more resources in terms of finance. Some countries have more resources, HR, human resource, etc. Then 6 countries can share those resources and expertise and develop a joint initiatives to protect the environment. And 4th, integrated approaches to sustain development, such as ecotourism, conservation programs can be designed and implemented more effectively across borders. Compared with the situation where each country deal with their issue independently, it would make sense concerned countries work together to achieve sustainability and initiate many activities such as promotion of ecotourism and also conservation programs. Finally, regional cooperation facilitates the establishment of mechanism for early warning systems and coordinated responses to natural disasters, especially since we have international rivers. If we have high water in the upstream countries, then upstream countries can send the early warning to the downstream countries. Or we are having a flood in Mekong River, so this high water may reach to your countries and downstream, maybe after a few days or a few weeks, then the countries in the downstream can prepare for such natural disasters. So those are the mechanism, reasons, and also the areas that the member countries can collaborate under the environmental sector working groups in GMS. So let me finish the second section and move on to the third section, which is today's GMS cooperation, and especially I want to focus the key outcomes of GMS cooperation for 3 decades. I would like to go through each sector just briefly. So as I mentioned in the section 2, in agriculture sector, it would make sense to have a common approach. For instance, agriculture practice in order to sustain the environment. So in item 5, here we have GMS countries promoted sustainable agriculture practices. As I mentioned that 6 countries are connected by river basins, so it would make sense for 6 countries to apply the same environmentally friendly farming methods. That way, we can maintain the safety of agricultural products inside the region. And there are many other issues like promoting the climate-smart agriculture and cross-border livestock trade. Yeah, again, in order to trade livestock, we need certain regulations. We have avian flus and so on. So we have to monitor the health of the livestock. And with having such common rules, we can facilitate the trade of livestock. And also inside the region, we need to build the agriculture value chain. And in order to do that, to this common approach, we have to do a capacity building training program for farmers on modern agriculture techniques and so on. So those are the outcomes that delivered in the agriculture sector during the past 3 decades. How about in energy sector? In the energy sector, it's a kind of hard physical infrastructure sector, and it would make sense to promote power trade inside the region. The country produce electricity more than they can produce, they can consume, they can export such electricity produced in the country to the neighboring countries with building transmission lines, so on. So under the framework, GMS framework, they come up with regional power trade framework. And also, in order to achieve this sustainability, GMS countries promoted renewable energy projects such as hydropower, solar, and wind projects. And also they promoted energy efficiency. And they also came up with integrated power grids so that they can facilitate the power trade inside the region. So these are the outcomes that the energy sector was able to deliver during the past years. As for environment, I have already explained in the previous sections, but they were able to deliver environmental conservation projects to protect biodiversity and natural habitats. And they also work on the pollution control, climate change mitigation, and apply the environmental standard for urban development and so on. As for the health sector, as we experience the pandemic, it would make sense the neighboring countries work together to contain communicable diseases. So even before the pandemic, 6 countries in the region collaborate to control and prevent the spread of diseases. And also they work together to build a health infrastructure. And also they focus how to manage the health issues in border areas so that the 6 countries can work together to contain communicable diseases and so on. They have also delivered human resource training and also harmonized health policies across the GMS countries. Next sector is ICT. ICT probably easier, but they promoted ICT infrastructure development in the past and also promoted e-government initiatives and promoted cross-border connectivity and provided capacity building training and also promoted digital economy development. For instance, those farmers produced a handicraft in Laos, now using digital economy and can advertise their handicrafts in the global market and sells their products globally. So this is the approach that GMS Corporation promoted under the ICT sector working group. We have tourism collaboration as well. In tourism sector, they established Mekong Tourism Coordination Office, which promote the marketing strategy to sell the tourism asset in the region as under the Mekong brand. So one of the easy example is they come up with so-called cross-border tourism packages. This promoted multi-country tourism packages, meaning if some tourists visited the eastern of Thailand, eastern region of Thailand, and under this multi-country tourism package, they also try to sell their visit to Laos side so that they can enjoy not only Thai tourist destinations, but also tourist destination connecting to Thai tourist destinations. That way, both Thailand and Laos can enjoy having more tourists inside between the two countries. And we have such multi-country tourism packages in 6 countries. Without such packaging, tourists may just ended up visiting tourist destination in Thailand only. However, with such initiative, tourists can also enjoy the other countries' destination, nearby destinations. That's the initiative promoted by tourism sector. Transport sector, as I explained in the previous sections, we promoted, 6 countries promoted economic corridors and railway as well to promote the cross-border transportation. And related with transport sector is transport and trade facilitations. So this is regulations side to facilitate transportations. In order to cross the borders, we normally have to go through some procedures like passport control, customs and quarantines. And if we have a very efficient procedures in border towns, then we can give incentives to the tourists or those trucks or passengers cars who would like to cross the borders. So this is the initiative to streamline and establish a so-called single window where they can complete paperwork under the single window system. So with such initiatives, we can increase the efficiency of cross-border issues and encourage the people in the region use the economic corridors, transport corridors more often. Finally, they have the urban development working group. This working groups focused on initiative to apply environmentally sustainable urban development. There are many secondary towns along the transport corridors, and they equally need the infrastructure such as water supply, sanitation, and waste management. And with this urban development sector's initiatives, they apply the same regulations so that each towns along the corridors can develop under the same rules and regulations. So these are the outcomes the GMS sector working groups delivered during the last 30 years. And finally, let me mention some indicators, statistics in this region. This is statistics, recent statistics. And as for the population among the 5 countries plus 2 provinces of China, total population is 340 million. Surprisingly, which is equivalent of that of United States, population of United States. So we have sufficient amount of population in this region, as I mentioned. So if we have since we have a good transportation and system, external investor would regard this is a large market that which deserve their investment. So this is one factor that we can GMS countries can sell as an attractiveness of investment. Land area 2,500 square kilometers. Population density is diverse among member countries. The most dense country population, high density is in Vietnam, and low dense population density country is Laos. And also, as for GDP, very important number, currently in total, 5 countries and 2 provinces of China's GDP total is 1.6 trillion US dollar, which is the same size of Australia's GDP. So with GDP number, this region has been growing rapidly, and we have a potential to attract further investment, considering the relatively large size of aggregated GDP. Finally, per capita GDP, there are discrepancy gaps between member countries. The highest per capita GDP country is Thailand, close to 7,000 US dollar per person. The least smallest number of per capita GDP is Myanmar's per capita GDP, which is about $1,000. So there are still gaps, income gaps among 6 countries in the region. So considering these statistics, let me finally mention about challenges going forward for GMS Corporation. So first, challenges is still we have economic disparities among member states. So we have been addressing economic disparities among member states, but given that there are still such income inequalities among member states, GMS country still need to work on this issues going forward. That's number 1. Number 2, environmental sustainability. Although, again, GMS countries has been working on this balancing between development and environmental conservation. I think this issue we still need to work on in the next decades to come. These two, as you recall, in the first part of my presentation, economic disparities and sustainability is the two of the three major development agendas. So in this region, we still need to work on these two global agenda through regional cooperation and integration. Third challenges is health security. We are very familiar with this issue. Went through the pandemic, and we still need to work on this issue to prevent future pandemics. Fourthly, maybe this is one of the fundamental issues that this region needs to continue to work on. As I mentioned, that after 6 countries in this region went through the civil wars and international wars, after we were able to achieve peaceful political situation, we were able to implement GMS cooperation under such political environment. However, as you can see, there are some geopolitical instability in this region, and which may may have some negative impact on the GMS corporations. So 6 countries in this region, in order to work, collaborate, strengthen the further cooperation, 6 countries in this region needs to work how to stabilize, how to achieve the stable political environment so that we can continue this GMS framework going further. So let me conclude my today's presentation, and I am looking forward receiving your comments and questions either in Facebook page or in YouTube videos. And I really looking forward exchanging views and talking with you in person in the near future. With that, let me conclude, and thank you very